Hello, today I'm making a Rumble Arena community tier list. Now this is based off of various responses I got from various people, and I'm going to be using those for this tier list. Just so you know, this tier list is very much so a very difficult one to make because I got a lot of responses. But not only that, um, I mean, I'm just not I don't know if I can make this without upsetting someone. So, I guess while we're on the way, let's just start off with Amma. Amma consistently was the best character in the game. On every single tier list I got, she was at least in the top 3, and I've never seen her not in the top 3 on any other tier list. So, why is that I'm actually considering for this video, and I'm also not going to count this super bad one I got by an unnamed person. Point is, Amma has good everything. She has an amazing Nair. Fair, Bear, Dare. Like, all of her aerials are really good. She has not a single move that I consider terrible. And that's important when you're playing. Like, she does not have a single useless move. She has really good movement speed as well, and can combo you to oblivion. Basically, if she touches you at 0, you're no longer anywhere near 0. Up, up, and away with you. But not only that, Amma also just, overall, has a, she has a good, her neutral special combos into every single move she has, really. Which is way too good, unarguably way too good. So I think those are, just some reasons that make sense. Next character is Wukong or Tona. I'll admit it, Wukong got third. This one was really this one was really close for a while. I'll admit it because Tona was always ranked really high, and his lowest. So I went on their lowest rankings, and Wukong had a lowest ranking, and Tona had a better average overall. So that's why I put Tona at third. Tona's a really good set of aerials, all of them comboing into each other. And doesn't have really a single dud move. For example, his Fair combos into his Nair, which combos into his Dare, which combos back into Nair, Dare, 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 and then Dare keeps comboing into itself to get a lot of damage. Tona's combos can do, and just like Sparta, which we'll talk about later, can do around 30 to 40 damage. Damage for an inexperienced player who's only doing Nair, Dare, Bear, it does 37, and if you're doing them right, you'll get around 60, 70, or even 100. Or even die, which is crazy. And as a move for newer players or even experienced players, is down B is pretty difficult to punish depending on who you are. Or if you do, you're only going to get like a grab or jab or something like that. Meaning it's not the least safe move. Or it's pretty unsafe, but it's really not that bad. He also has a really good neutral special, which leads perfect, which is really good for camping, and he has a side special, which keeps your opponent at bay. The only actually bad move I consider Tona having is his up B. Easy to DI out of, but even then, it's still pretty good because it's very good for making your opponent use their air dodge early and getting a decent kill. Wukong, he's really good. Like I said, he would be at second if Tona just didn't have an overall higher average. So, Wukong has very good every single. All of his aerials are good except for his down air. All of his specials are good. Good. And his tilts are his only real bad move, I'd say. Like, you just have no reason to use them. So, let's just say that's one of the reasons that he's, lower, but I also think it's that he's really good at everything, and that's why he's so high, but he's not as easy to play. He's not super easy to play well, and I think that's what ranks him lower than Tona and Amma, but I think at a higher level, honestly, I think Wukong's better, but I will admit that Wukong does have some more mediocre moves, or does have a couple bad moves, while Tona doesn't have really what I consider bad or unusable. Ona has a really good fair. Wukong has really good fair. Like all of both of them have both really good aerials and specials, but it really came down to the community ranking. Both of these characters also are really fast, and while Tona's more of a passive aggressive or more of a passive and zoning type character, Wukong is able to be more aggressive and has less trouble killing. So that's why I ranked him higher, but I think the community ranked him higher because of, or ranked him lower because Tona's massive combos. But other than that, I'd say Wukong's better all the way because that down special can kill you at any percent, really. Or that down special can kill you at any percent past like 50 or 60. Now, these two characters are also characters that were very close, and I went back and forth, and I didn't go back and forth on them, but I will admit that they were very close. But overall, I think Cupid was 4th and Fenrir was 5th. So basically, these characters had very similar average and highest placings, so I overall went with the lowest placing possible. Cupid's lowest placing being around 4th and Fenrir's being 6th. It was crazy to think that that we had a character who had a lowest placing of 6th when Fenrir I think is so much better. Better, or not so much better. I think I placed him higher because I think he's better than Cupid. But overall, they both have a really good matchup chart and combos. Fenrir having a really good back air, which leads into a lot of space, especially when in big mode. And Cupid having a good nair that takes up a lot of space at once as well as comboing into itself a lot of times. Being able to do so much damage or even take a stock. Cupid's also really good at keeping you in disadvantage and keeping you off stage. Plus, she can heal 4 to 5%, and at a time sometimes, which is ridiculous and can be the difference between winning and losing. But I mean, Fenrir, he does have his good things as well. Like I said, all of his aerials, other than his down air, which I consider mediocre, are really good. So I think that's a good thing. Tona has good or mediocre tilts, but even then, I wouldn't consider that an awful downside. Everything about him is just good, except for his matchup chart. Fenrir, in my opinion, has a losing matchup against Amma, Tona. Amma and Tona is a bad matchup. Cupid slightly losing or even. Wukong wins, and also can be infinite by Athena. Now, of course, in a competitive setting, that infinite is banned, but still. In normal play, you can be hit with that and lose an entire stock just by getting touched. With no possible way out because of its hurt box being so long, allowing to slide under some moves and get comboed to death by others. But, I mean, overall, Fenrir is still really, really, really good. And I wouldn't consider any of part of him being bad. Now, I'll admit it, this next character was actually, while it wasn't unanimous, it was pretty clear where he was going to be placed around. And I think that it was still really, I think it was still kind of hard for some people to decide, but I think it was pretty easy for me. The spot I saw Spartacus around most was 6th. Now, since in the last video I did Spartacus 30, I'm going to go till at least the 11-minute mark on this one. Alright? Spartacus, he's really good. He has really good aerials, just as Tona, and we're not going to go over we're not going to go over his moves, other than unless the ones serve different purposes, for Sparta over Tona. For example, jab. Now, while both characters can do the jab back throw thing, I still think Spartacus has a really jab back throw combo because he can also combo into an uppy, which can combo into a fair or dare and give you some good percentage. as well as the Dare still being really good for comboing, and Fair also being good for comboing it on its own. This combo is one of D-Wright's signature combos, but other players such as Ruva have learned to use it and are pretty good with it as well. As well as the fact that Sparta has a very infamous up B, which is good for killing and edge guarding, but he also has a side B that can kill reasonably early, which I think is a very good thing to note about. Nair Dare's side B kills around 80 to 90, and is also fairly easy to hit, as you just have to hit the hitbox that sends down on the Dare, and then all of a sudden that sends like completely straight down, or even just a bit to the right or left. No massive angle changes, and your character's fine, or your character's dead. So I think that's a very big difference, as well as the counter. Counter's a really good move. It does some decent percent, and it also has a base percentage, which is something that most counters in games don't have. It always depends on the move. This is also a move with very low landing lag, allowing it to be very spammable, making it hard to hit Spartacus. Of course, that doesn't mean he's unhittable, of course, but still it gets annoying. The thing Spartacus has different from Tona being his special, but he also has one other minor difference. And this one I think is actually a bit bigger because it allows him to has a true kill confirm at ledge with up B, being jab jab up B. Now this state combo works true, but it's even better if you're at the ledge because Spartacus moves forward with his jab while Tona doesn't, allowing him to go off stage and then push your opponent even closer to the blast zone, while jab jab up B isn't as easy or true, or is a bit harder to hit while on stage. In the air, your opponent cannot get out of it. As long as you keep them within the up B. Sparta also has Spartamines have learned, mainly D-Wright, have learned to use down tilt and up tilt as moves to keep the opponent in check, as well as just do some damage. For example, jab jab down tilt and jab jab up tilt being true combos. The neutral special, while not being good, has one purpose, and I think that purpose is often overlooked. So when you short hop, or when you're in the air and use down special, Spartacus will stay in the air until you land and then do the down special. If you do it right, if your opponent tries to recover to the edge, you can actually hit them with a light 2 frame, as long as they're going horizontal instead of vertical. And while it's incredibly difficult, it does work. Another thing that does work is if your opponent's going high and then trying to land on top of you, you can hit them with it because the hitbox goes above Spartacus. Alright, now that we're done with Spartacus, we now are going to go on to number flippin' 7. Man, it's a lot harder to talk about these characters when you're not talking about them on your own opinion. Now, this character was also fairly unanimously voted. So, and the average that he placed in was 7th. Now, Jin, he has no trouble killing. No trouble whatsoever. Yeah, he has a lot of strong moves, and that just makes it very easy for him to kill. His fair kills reasonably early, or fairly early. And I'm sure and the lowest I actually saw this character placed was 9th, which was ridiculous, but I mean, whatever. But, the highest I saw him placed was in the top, 5, I think, which was, I could check, but I mean, I remember it being 5th or 6th. So, yeah. Clearly, it's pretty clear where this character's, placed. So, I don't really have that much to say about Jin, but I will say his neutral special and up B are pretty good for catching your opponents off guard. They can lead into other moves and put your opponent at disadvantage, and is great for ledge trapping. But the thing is, he does have 2 specials that are notable, but not good. His side B is ridiculous and bad. You have no reason to use it unless you're trying to safely get back to ledge, but other than that, there's no use for it. Down B in the air is hilarious, and is one of my favorite moves, but it's not good. The heavy armor, nice. It's not going to save the move, though, because any smart opponent will just attack from the side and space correctly. So yeah, he really doesn't have like a ridiculous amount of things, but the things he does have are really good. Like the Dare Chain, which can lead to an up smash and kill you with 0 as long as you're pretty much any character. So now that we're off of that, the next character I'm going to be talking about is Emoji. And so you want to talk about Emoji? Simple. He's, in my opinion, better than Jin, but I could understand people's opinions of him not being better than Jin. So the highest I really usually saw him was 8th, 9th. I saw maybe 1/7. But I didn't really ever see any placements higher than that. And that was kind of upsetting. Because, yeah, I can agree, he's not the best character. But he's definitely not that bad. He's not, like, where you guys are ranking him. So, yeah. That's, like, it's upsetting to see that. That's where he's placed, but I can live with it. Alright, so let's talk about Emoji, though. So, Emoji has Nair chains from 30, 50, around 30 to 50, which are easy percents to get to with Emoji. And yeah. Like, so that's one thing I'll say. Is 30 to 50 is a very, like, easy percent to get with Emoji, because his back air does 17, which is a lot, and has good range. His fair combos into itself a couple of times. There are so many ways to get to 50, it's pretty crazy. So, that's why I rank him as, like, there. As well as the fact that, overall, all of his moves, I don't think there's a single actually, like, bad one. All of his moves serve their purpose and do that. Nothing more, nothing less. I went on Mount Emoji for a little bit longer than I'd like to admit last time, so yeah. Alright. Anyway, 9th, I'm gonna give it to Anubis. No. You're not in 7th, you're in 9th. Sorry, you missed the top 8. So, the average spot I saw Anubis was around 9th to 10th. And I'll admit, Anubis ain't the best character. He's not really near the best character. But I do have my reasons for thinking that he's 9th as well as others, and why they probably think he's 9th. But some people think he's actually like 10th or something. That's like the lowest spot I've seen him. I didn't see him like 11th or 12th though, which is good. But yeah, I did average see him around 9th, so I'm gonna put him there. Noobs has his combos, he has his moves, he has good ones, he has his mediocre ones. And that's around him. He just has some good moves and some bad ones. There isn't much to say other than Dare Chains are pretty good. He has a side B which leaves your opponent stunned. He has a down B that's a good counter. He has a good up B. I don't really have much to say about him because I haven't played him much. And that's a big problem. However, I'll tell you right now, the bottom 3 was, and these 3 will be going in D tier. Boop. I'll tell you the bottom 4 right now because I just don't feel like leaving the suspense. Thor is 10th. Or, wait. Yes, 10th. 11th, 12th, 13th. I forgot how to count for a second. Or I didn't, but I thought I did. Thor is really good. He has good fair chains. I personally think that he's worse than Anubis. But even then, I can understand why some would think he's better. But overall, I'd say average. I saw him at 10th. So, why is Thor at 10th? Well, simple. He doesn't have that much combo diversity, and it's really hard to get in with him and actually do the damage. For example, characters like Amma, Tona, Cupid, Jin, and those 4 can completely wall him out, and there's not really much he can say to do about it. Wukong, Fenrir, and Sparta, Tona again, combo him forever, ever, and don't have any trouble really hitting him. Jin, and just like I said, camps him out. So basically, every character above him, the top 8, have good matchups against him. And that's a bad matchup chart. So that's one reason why I think he is placed low. Is that if you look at it, he doesn't really have any good or many good matchups. The rest of them are just fine. He only has a winning matchup against Rajan and Athena. He only has a winning match against the characters in D. Alright, Athena. Now, while some characters like Maxentius have been able to find some success with her, that success with a very specific playstyle. But I will admit, the success he found there is valid. It is good success, and I am glad that EA showed Athena can do her things. Athena has a spear, and yet she doesn't have that many big hitboxes. I think a good moveset to look at for what Athena should have been, and look at friggin' Sephiroth's moveset in Ultimate, and that's what her aerials overall should have been, with some changes, obviously. Like, the upward spearhead, like, that should stay the same, but I think the fair and back air should have been that, because then it makes sense. and I think they're fine. I think that makes sense. I think the side B and down B are like fine, and her specials, honestly, other than up B, are not bad. They're just not great. Athena is the definition of not great, or mediocre or decent. She doesn't have anything bad. She just doesn't have anything amazing. Her side B and down B are her best moves, and even then they're predictable for the most part. Fujin, he's here because he's the only character Rajan needed is last. He's only here because Rajan exists. He's only second to last because Rajan exists. So, well, I don't actually know much about Fujin. I know he has Dare Chains, he has the neutral special, and he has that up B, but I don't really know what to say about him. I haven't played against him much, and I haven't seen him much. I just know, like, he has a very toxic and boring playstyle. So I'm sorry if you guys if anyone wanted to see what I had to say about Fujin, the 0 people watching, but I didn't have anything to say about Fujin. Sawi. Let's talk about Rajan though, because I actually do have some things to say about this character. Once again, I have to give credit to Lord Maxentius for finding some success with this character. Lord Maxentius has found quite a bit of success with this character, simply using a simple strategy of, I'm not going to say play lane win game, but his playstyle is he doesn't do the biggest combos, but he does do what works. He uses jab at a shield, dash attack, neutral special, and down air dodge cancel side B to do a shield break, as well as catch his opponent off guard. As well as just using a lot of his moves overall, well, the dash attack is a really good move, and he has a pretty solid down air. His his down air up air is a true combo. Oh, up B can zoom. Like, I don't know why people think he's so much worse than Fujin. I will admit Fujin's better, but I don't think he's that much worse. But I'm sure might trigger some people. And the thing is though, the rest of his moves are bad. Like, Fujin has a couple okay moves outside of the ones I mentioned. There's not much gold in him there's no gold in Rajan outside of the moves I mentioned, and those moves are good by like D tier standards. Like, if I were to rank his moves, dash attack would be like A tier, A plus tier. Jab would be B tier. Neutral special would be C tier, and side B would be B tier. And down air and up air would be probably like mid B. Like, he doesn't have any S tier move, or only has one A tier move. The rest of his moves are why he's the worst in the game. There's no reason to really use them. His down special has good, or his down B has good range, but that's about all it has, considering it barely kills. But that's about all I have to say. Thank you for the people who gave me these lists. Some of the people I can think of off the top of my head that gave me theirs were Lord Maxentius, the main man, and I'm just gonna say how Tusker pronounces it. Joachim. Someone tell me how to pronounce that. Like, give me a syllable thing or like a letter per letter and how to pronounce it. Um, let's see. The other people who gave me them were Dens, and I also got a tier list from Dusk. Those were the 5 people that I used their tier list the most. But I did use other tier lists as well. But I want to give a shout out to those people because I constantly went back to their tier list. Alright. Outside of that, that's the last of my video for today. I hope you guys enjoyed and keep being gamers. Alright. I don't know. Community tier list pog.